All right, folks, joining us at this time, you may have seen her on The Voice a couple of years ago, and she'll be appearing at the grand opening celebration of Market Basket in Mauriceville this Saturday at 5 o'clock. The one and only Natalie Stovall. Welcome.
Hello. Hi.
How are you doing today?
I am awesome. How are you doing?
I'm doing quite well. Now, I know we're here to talk a little bit about your career. I know you're going to be appearing in Market Basket in Mauriceville to perform for some of the fine folks in Southeast Texas. But you've actually been in the music world, I guess, for quite some time. You actually appeared in the Grand Ole Opry at just 12 years old. So I'm guessing I like to do a little bit of research. So I'm guessing you
did your research. I'm liking this.
I'm guessing you knew pretty early of what you wanted to do for a living.
I did. I grew up just an hour south of Nashville. That was my hometown, was Columbia, Tennessee. And so I was always kind of in the middle of the music while also being a little bit isolated in a very small town. But I started playing the fiddle at age 4 and started touring at age 12. One of my first tours I actually came down and played in Texas. That was my first stint on the road in a van with a bunch of older musicians. And so, I mean, my whole life, this is what I've wanted to do. And I've been fortunate enough to be able to make a career out of it already and continue to watch that grow.
Now, being on the road at such a young age, I know school had to have been different. I'm sure you took classes while you were on the road. But what was one of the most challenging things about being on the road while touring?
I loved it so much, and still to this day. I mean, for the last 10 years of my life, I've spent way more time on the road than I have at home. We've done over 200 shows a year for, I guess, 5 or 6 years in a row, like right up until I went on The Voice, which meant that I had to kind of take time off the road, which was a little crazy. But really, I mean, one of the biggest challenges is always just missing the important events and not being able to be home for birthdays or I've missed births of my, nieces and nephews and funerals and things that are really hard, but it also is it's part of what you do when you love the music and you love being on the road. That's just part of it. But I think I was trying to remember this the other day, but I'm pretty sure I had my 12th birthday on the road. So I was just in a van with a bunch of people that I didn't really know. I was kind of opening for some older country acts, and they had taken me out and I was using their band. But I remember so vividly they were like, "Oh, you're going to love it. We're going to go to Whataburger every meal." And I was like, "What's Whataburger?" We didn't have that in Tennessee. And so I got that initial experience on the road. I just went straight into it. It was awesome.
I know a lot of your fans may have found out who you are through The Voice. You actually made it all the way to the playoffs. What was something that you experienced on the show that maybe didn't make it on air?
Oh, that's nobody's asked me that yet. That's so interesting. I mean, you experience a ton that doesn't make it on the air. After one of the rounds, I had gotten off stage, and it was that shot of adrenaline that you're just, so, I don't know, there's so emotion that goes into it. I mean, they have you sequestered for a month before you're even on the blind auditions. Nobody's allowed to visit you for an entire month, and you don't even know if you're going to be on the show yet. So that's so crazy. But I remember coming off stage, I can't remember what performance it was, but I just was bawling. And they were interviewing me, and, they're always kind of trying to get you to be on that emotional edge. Mm-hmm. And I remember just being like, it was so great. And I was crying and trying not to cry. And I was so nervous they were going to air that, and they didn't. I was like, oh, they didn't make me look like an idiot. I'm so happy.
Maybe it was a little bit too much emotion.
It was a little too much. I remember when we were watching, because my whole family was here, and I had a bunch of friends over, and we were watching, and I was like, oh, here it comes. And they didn't show that portion, so I probably had raccoon eyes or something from all the makeup smearing, but,
That's awesome. Now, I know one of the covers that you're known for is Devil Went Down to Georgia. Matter of fact, you actually got to go on stage with Charlie Daniels and play Devil Went Down to Georgia. How was that?
That was one of the most surreal moments of my life. I mean, that's a song that I've closed my shows with for years. I don't even remember when I first started playing that song. And so to get that phone call from Charlie and be like, hey, come play Devil Went Down to Georgia with me? And you're going, wait, hold on a second. You want me to play this with you? This is amazing. And we hadn't discussed it before the show. And so I get to the arena and someone takes me to go speak with Charlie. And I said, okay, Mr. Daniels, how do you want to do this? And he looked at me and said, I want you to play Devil Went Down to Georgia. And I was like, well, cool, but do you want me to like sit out and let you play? And then he goes, no, I'll follow you. And I remember kind of looking around being like, did anybody hear that? Charlie just said he's going to follow me on Devil. But it was really a beautiful moment. I mean, he is the epitome of the Southern gentleman and couldn't have been kinder to me. And, it was a sold out arena show in Nashville, and it was bananas. I just tried to take deep breaths and enjoy it because that song goes by very quickly. Mm-hmm. And I managed to actually take a couple of moments while I was on stage with him and really look out and be thankful for what was happening.
That was going to be one of the things that I brought up because I actually went back and watched that video. And at one point, it almost seemed like you were in awe. The fact that it was almost like an out-of-body experience. Like you were just watching them. You just happened to be on stage.
Right. That's an accurate description. I mean, that's how I felt on stage. And it was one of those where I tried to make sure that I didn't let it pass me by without acknowledging that while I was on stage, because that's so easy to do, especially in those, adrenaline-filled moments, if you will, from The Voice. It's so easy to kind of go out on stage and you get this burst of energy and then you're off stage all of a sudden and you don't even realize what just happened. And so in that one for me was really important to make sure that I enjoyed every second of it and didn't, just blink and go, oh, wait, what just happened? Did I black out?
I know The Devil Went Down to Georgia is one of the most iconic songs to feature a fiddle, but in your opinion, what's one of the most difficult songs to play on the fiddle?
Oh, well, that was one of the most difficult ones to learn. Trying to think of something that has been really challenging. I remember when we put together a big kind of rock medley where I could play guitar riffs on fiddle with my guitar players in the band. And one of the hardest ones for me ever to learn was Black Dog, Led Zeppelin.
Nice.
That riff, obviously not meant to be played on a fiddle, because the way that you have to kind of cross over the strings and play all the things and, move your fingers around, which I love playing guitar riffs. I love using the fiddle more like a lead guitar in a lot of ways. Mm-hmm. And so I've kind of gotten used to that. But it is funny, as you learn guitar riffs, you go, oh, no, this is not the same thing as the fiddle. This was obviously not meant to be played on this instrument.
Very nice. With you being on the tour, touring around the country quite often, I know a lot of people would like to know what's going to be next for you. Is there an album maybe you're working on, an upcoming tour that people can get ready for? What's next for you?
Yes, both. I've been in the studio a bunch. I've kind of been experimenting a lot lately with just, I've been transitioning just from being on something like The Voice and been releasing music every few months. And so right now I'm just taking a little time to kind of get more music together. I would love to be able to release a full project again. So that's what's in the works. But I am currently on a military tour here in the States. We're not going outside the States for this one, but I'm doing a military-based tour opening for Maddie and Tay. So that's really fun. We did our first one last week in Virginia, and then I'll be, continuing that throughout summer. And so just working on music, and I'm constantly on the road. I love coming to Texas. I love coming to y'all's area. So very excited about being there, even though I know it's going to be blistering hot when we arrive.
Hopefully they'll have you set up in the shade.
Yeah, I'm hoping that we have a little shaded area, but it is going to be so joyful to be able to be there. I know you guys have been hit so hard by Harvey, and to finally be at a place where some of the locations of different businesses and things are getting to reopen. Mm-hmm. I'm excited to be a part of the celebration of the reopening of Market Basket and to be able to partake in the joy of those sides of things. So
absolutely. So like you said, you're going to be performing at Market Basket in Mauriceville this Saturday at 5 o'clock. For more information on Natalie Stovall, you can always go to nataliestovall.com. You're also on Instagram, Facebook, and Twitter. Just search Natalie Stovall. So thank you very much for your time, and we look forward to seeing you perform on Saturday.
Yeah, I hope I get to meet everybody. I'll be hanging out afterwards, too, and so please come down and say hello.
Thank you so much for your time.
Thank you.